Okay. Thank you, Oaktown girl. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Please let me know. Um, I'm having some like weird issues with my headset and also with my audio. So hopefully you guys can hear. Let me know um, if you cannot hear. It looks like it's going now. So anyway, my name is Robin Heron. I'm your carnivorous grandma, and it's my carniversary. It's 3 years of meat based eating. And so I could not let this day go by without coming in here to talk to you guys about what has it been like to be an animal based eater for 3 whole years. 3 whole years. I can hardly believe it. Um, I started on February 22nd, 2023. We are now at February 22nd, 2026, and I have been meat based for 3 whole years. And so I'm super excited about it. And I want to tell you guys about all the things that have happened and just kind of give a rundown. We're only going to be live for a little bit today. Because I know that on YouTube we have, thank you, Oaktown Girl. We have Butter Bob Briggs, who is back. And if you guys don't know about Butter Bob, Butter Bob was one of the original carnivore people, like from what I want to say about a little over 10 years ago or something. I used to watch his YouTube channel. And his philosophy was that a stick of butter will make your pants fall off. I don't know if you guys know about that guy. Have you guys heard of him? And so he was one of the OGs back in the day that was talking about meat-based eating and eating a lot of high fat. And then he kind of disappeared, but I still kept going back to watch his channel, watching some of his videos where he did cook different recipes and talked about meat-based eating. And so he is back, and he's going to be going live at 6 o'clock tonight. So I would encourage everyone to get on YouTube. I'm not sure if he's going to be streaming to TikTok at the same time. Get on YouTube and go watch him, because he's definitely an OG in this space. And, me, I'm a newbie. I'm only 3 years old, just been here for 3 years doing this meat-based way of eating. And I want to talk a little bit about what happened. I'm sorry, TikTok, I don't have pictures for you guys, but I do want to show one picture on Facebook and YouTube. And I'll post this picture up so that you guys can have a chance to look at it on TikTok. I'll post it up on my TikTok. But I had severe skin issues. Like, I had this eczema, what I thought was eczema, that was so bad. And I'll describe it to you. It was two black eyes. And it was like dark rings around here, and then a dark circle around my mouth. I would have rashes that would pop up everywhere. As a kid, I had these, rash around the neck. I had rashes in the arms, rashes behind the knees, and just dealt with severe, severe eczema. And then as I got a little bit older, I started having this dyshydrotic eczema, which meant that my hand skin would just peel off. It would crack open, it would peel off, and do all kinds of disgusting things. It was really, really, really uncomfortable. And in fact, I just basically I would hold my hands in a position like this because it would get infected. I tried going to doctors, and, they gave me creams and ointments and courses of steroids and all of those kinds of things to deal with this issue that I was having with skin. The other thing that I had was that I was a yo-yo dieter. So I'm going to show you guys a picture of that on my YouTube here. Sorry, TikTok, but we'll get those pictures posted up for you. So I was on the yo-yo diet roller coaster. I started dieting at age 11. Hey, Lance. Hey, Charles. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here with me tonight. I'm celebrating my 3-year carniversary, and I couldn't let it go by without coming in to talk about it. So, what happened was at age 11, I decided I needed to go on a diet. That's really young to think, I'm fat and I need to go on a diet. But I started then, and then I started trying all these different diets. So anytime there was something, unless I had to pay for it, which I did end up paying. I paid for the medical weight loss, and I paid for the Weight Watchers and all the different things. And I yo-yoed up and down. But no matter what my weight was, I still had eczema on my face and on my hands. And so it was really, really bad. So what happened was I was on keto. I did keto, the ketogenic diet for a long time, which was a high plant-based keto, because my plate would be filled with very fatty things like fat kid broccoli, which was so good. It was like cheese and sour cream and butter but broccoli, like a whole bunch of it. I did all the cauliflower mac and cheese. I did all of the almond flour cookies and the almond flour cakes and the almond flour. There was a recipe from Darius Cooks. I don't know if you guys know Darius Cooks, but he did a keto cookbook and he created a recipe for cornbread that was so good that really rivaled like a regular cornbread. And I used to eat that stuff all the time. And I did keto for 5 years straight, just successfully doing it straight. Then one summer, I decided I'm going to indulge myself because I deserve this. I deserve to eat this sweet corn because Michigan has the best sweet corn. It's so good. And it was in season. And I'm like, I'm going to have some sweet corn, which led me into 5 years of what I like to call Cheeto. So I could not get back on keto to save my life. I was struggling to try to get back on keto. I kept falling off the wagon. I would lose weight and gain weight and just struggled with keto. And then I found my way to carnivore. How did I find my way? So carnivore is like primarily meat. Fatty, it's a high fat, moderate protein protocol, no carbohydrates, 0 to very, very little carbohydrates. And so I watched Dr. Ken Berry and he did this. He was keto and he switched to carnivore and I watched him for probably a year. Now I had heard about carnivore and I was like interested in carnivore, but I'm like, that is crazy. Who does that? Who eats only meat? That's insane. You're going to kill yourself doing that. And so I thought, like a lot of people probably think, that eating a high meat-based way of eating was very dangerous. And so when I watched Dr. Berry do it, I was like, he is looking good. He's thriving. He's continuing to lose weight. He's doing great. And I decided to try it. So I just jumped off the cliff and I tried carnivore on February 22nd, 2023, which was 3 years ago today. And unbelievable. And I'll tell you what my mindset was. I thought, I'm going to do 90 days of carnivore. I'm going to do it for 90 days. I set my mind to that I would do it for 90 days. And then I'll start adding things back in, right? I'll start adding back in some plants, some vegetables, some this or that, maybe some, I don't know what I thought I was going to add back in. But after I did carnivore for about 30 days, I knew there was no going back. I was never going to be able to go back to my old way of eating. It was just not going to be able to happen because certain things happened within my mental health, within my life. So I'll give you kind of a rundown of the issues that I was dealing with. So along with the eczema, the 2 black eyes, and this dark circle, I would get rashes. They would break out in different areas. I would just have these, it was eczema, I guess. And then the dyshydrotic eczema in the hands. I had severe, debilitating anxiety. Like, I'm not going to be able to go outside of my house. The kind of anxiety where you're like, I'm going to the doctor. Doctor, you're going to have to put me on some medication. Put me on medication because I cannot function. I'm not going to be able to drive my car. I'm not going to be able to like do regular daily things, go outside, go to the store. All of the things that we do in regular daily life, I was so afraid of everything. So afraid, so much anxiety. I had driving anxiety, and I always use this example about my driving anxiety because it feels unusual. You guys let me know if anybody else has ever dealt with this, where you're driving down the road, it's a sunny day, right? So the shadows are there, the trees are casting shadows, and I would see those shadows passing me by like this, and that would freak me out. I would have to like turn around and go back home. Go back home and like go back to my house where it's safe at. And I knew that it wasn't like nothing really is happening. I can look around. I would try to use those mental games, where they say, use your senses. What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you see? I would try to use those techniques, but the anxiety was overwhelming. If I had to cross over an overpass, which like to get to my Costco, I have to cross over this little overpass, which is a 2-lane overpass. I could not cross over that thing. I would have to go the long way around in order to get to where I'm going. Or I would be driving up to the overpass and find myself literally almost stopped, almost at a standstill, looking to try to make sure there's no cars behind me because I can't cross over this bridge. And so it was really, really scary. And I went to the doctor and had her put me on medication. She put me on Zoloft. I was on Zoloft for a year. And so after about 3 months on carnivore, I started to wean myself off of that medication because I felt like I really probably don't need this anymore. And come to find out I didn't. I was struggling with like, if somebody would ring my phone, I would tell my family, do not call me. Don't make my phone ring, because if you do that, I'm positive that something terrible has happened. I'm positive of it. So just don't call me. Send me a text and then I will call you back, or, we can text back and forth or something like that. So it was really, really devastating kind of anxiety that I had. And that literally, I would say it's probably about 90% gone. I still get a little bit of anxiety sometimes, but nothing compared to what I had when I started carnivore 3 years ago. I had what I'm calling undiagnosed gout, where I would have this pain in my joints of my feet, and that went away really fast. In 30 days, I felt so much better. The one thing that I did not expect that was so incredible and was like, what is happening, is that first season. So I said I started in February, springtime, March, April, May was coming right up. I was a person that took allergy pills twice a day, every day, all year round, because I had allergies that lasted all year round. And so I basically found myself, I would get those big Costco size things of allergy pills. And I think it would probably last me about maybe 2-3 months. Plus I was taking Benadryl. I realized that I no longer needed to take those allergy pills. All of a sudden, I just was not taking them. After I was on carnivore for a year, I still had like half a bottle of allergy pills that I just never had the opportunity to finish because my allergies went away. Anybody else had experience with that? Like, did that happen to anybody, that when you went carnivore, your allergies, seasonal allergies went away? Yeah. I mean, pretty incredible stuff, because I literally have been allergic to everything all of my life. I used to take allergy shots and all of the things because I had such bad allergies. So allergies are not something that I'm really dealing with at this point. Now we'll see when the spring comes back around. I feel like I get a couple of days here and there, postnasal drip, or, a little bit of sneezing, itchy eyes and stuff, but it's literally nothing compared to what I had before I started my meat-based way of eating. I had IBS. So irritable bowel syndrome. There's a couple of options that you can have with IBS, and one of them is IBS with where you have loose stools. Mine was constipation. So I was the person who was sitting in the bathroom for hours trying to go. And literally that disappeared within days. I no longer had to deal with that IBS with constipation as I went along. The food obsession. So I was thinking about food 24/7. 24/7. I mean, literally, as I'm eating this meal, I'm thinking about what am I going to have for my next meal. Me and my mom would sit around and talk about what we ate. We would talk about what we're going to eat. We would take pictures and send it. Now, I still do take pictures of my food, but mostly because if I'm posting up on my social media to say, okay, this is what I'm eating, you guys, or if I'm going out somewhere, I'm posting that up to say, this is what I'm eating. This is how I ordered out at such and such a place, right? These are the best places to order a la carte at, where you can order meat and those kinds of things. But other than that, I'm really not thinking about food. And I was completely and totally obsessed with food and thinking about food before I started my meat-based journey. I had high blood pressure, which was probably going to lead to chronic hypertension because that is like something that's in my family, that chronic hypertension. And I was able to remediate hypertension and get off blood pressure medications with a ketogenic way of eating. So that's something that I've been impressed with, that it can regulate, moderate your blood pressure. I had iron deficiency anemia. So they would always want to put me on these little pills for iron. And I didn't like to take iron pills because iron pills cause you to be constipated. And I was already dealing with IBS with constipation. So I would refuse that. But I know I wasn't able to give blood because I was always anemic. And so at about a year on carnivore, I had my blood work done and I was no longer anemic. How shocking was that? I was like, this is really different. I had no idea that could even happen. I had no idea that could even happen, but I guess it makes sense because I'm eating a lot of red meat. I eat beef most days. Okay. So, and then another thing that happened to me was that my prescription, you see that I wear glasses. I've been wearing glasses since I was in 4th grade, and my prescription continues to get better every year. So that's not something that I expected or thought was possible, was that the eyeglass prescription would get better. I will notice like all of a sudden I have to start taking my glasses off in order to see up close. And it's because my vision is actually improving. So that's really, really, really interesting. So there have been so many benefits to this way of eating as far as, what has happened with my body. I'll talk about weight loss just a little bit because here we go. I see the trolls coming in. Yay. That means I am a winner. Thank you for Vegan Christianity is back again to tell me that I'm promoting animal abuse. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead and engage with my content. I appreciate you for doing that. But anyway, what I want to say is that I started out this journey. I was in the 160. I can't remember exactly how many pounds I was because I did not weigh myself. I don't recommend that you do that. If you're starting carnivore, go ahead and weigh yourself. I was being rebellious because I was like, I'm not going to do any of the things that I would normally do if I was starting a diet, because I'm not starting another diet. So I didn't weigh myself. I didn't take my measurements. I didn't take a picture. I didn't do any of the things. But what I did do is I knew I was going to start a YouTube channel. So I took a video. So I have a little bit of video that I'm like, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. On my channel, I'm going to cook, right? I thought that was all I would be doing, is just doing cooking and making recipes and all of those kinds of things. And so, but as it turns out, I'm doing a lot more than that on my social media. So, yes. So I lost about probably 35, 40 pounds, I would say. I lost 20 pounds within the first 90 days. After that, I didn't really lose a lot of weight. I was losing weight pretty slow. So I was trying all these different experiments. I tried the stick of butter a day. I tried, doing different things. And I had this idea also that I could do my way of eating without doing any movement or exercise. And I know that that is something that is said, right? Is that you can do this way of eating and don't get any movement in your life. And so I no longer agree with that philosophy. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about why. And so so today my weight was 136. My goal weight was 135. I'm going to take it. I think I'm within the margin of error. I'm within the margin of error for my weight loss, right? I'm within plus or minus 5 pounds of the goal weight that I was going for originally. But what happened was my shape changed. The way my clothes fit changed. All of a sudden, I couldn't wear any of the clothes that I had. And everything was way too big, too loose. Even my coat, I just gave it away because it was way too big. And so now I need to go and buy a whole new wardrobe, because even though, I still weigh 135 pounds, I'm pretty small, I would say, much thinner than what I would have been if I would have been on, let's say, a low calorie way of eating. And then I feel like also proportionally, when I was on all those low calorie ways of eating, I would lose weight in such a weird way. Like my shape would be strange. My neck would be very thin. Like, I would have this huge head, what I felt like a huge head on a very small neck. And so I like the way that animal-based eating lets your body be proportional in the way that it should be, because you're eating a high-fat, moderate protein way of eating and basically eliminating your carbohydrates, which, as we know, carbohydrates are sugar. So, so I lost the weight that I wanted to lose. And then about a year after I started carnivore, I started walking. So, one of my co-hosts from my show brought this walking challenge, and it was 14,400 steps a day. And walking like that really, really was a game changer as far as, the reshaping of my body, being able to move and getting that movement in. It really, really does matter. I say, the scripture says that the bodily exercise profiteth little, but it does profit. And so I feel like walking was a game changer for me when I started incorporating that 14,400 steps a day. Now that's a lot of walking, actually. It's almost 7 miles a day. And so how do I get that in? I march in place. Like if I wasn't here going live with you guys, I would be up marching in place, trying to get my steps in. It's cold outside right now, so I'm not going out there. I do have a treadmill. I don't prefer that. So I'll just march, or I'll walk around inside my house. And I will watch shows. I'll watch whatever videos I want to watch. I'll, listen to my podcast, whatever it is. Maybe I'll even read a book while I'm doing my steps and walking in place. Walking like that, those amount of steps has been a game changer for me. So I definitely do recommend find a way to get some movement in. you might not want to start out with 14,000 steps, but there are certain functional type of movements that you want to be able to do your whole life. So you want to be able to, I always talk about this, like with my mom or with some of the elder ladies that I'm coaching, and say, if you fall down, will you be able to get back up? So, sitting and standing, and being able to get up without propping yourself up, squatting, those kinds of things. You want to be able to bend down and pick something up. All those kinds of things you want to be able to do your whole life. And so with that, make sure that you're getting some movement in. It's a game changer. It really is. And then the third thing that I will say that I found to be a game changer on my meat-based way of eating was increasing my fat. And so increasing fat has been something that has been difficult from a mindset perspective, right? Because we're coming, most of us, if not all of us, are coming from a place of the idea that fat is bad for you. It's going to give you a heart attack. Excuse me. It's going to give you a heart attack. It's going to make you sick. All of those kinds of ideas. But come to find out that we need fat. Our bodies need fat. Our brains need fat. Every cell in your body needs fat. So increasing the fat has been a great game changer. When I was able to get my animal fat, so I'm not talking about the stick of butter a day challenge, which I will touch on briefly. When I was able to get like some beef fat trimmings from ribeye particularly, which is absolutely delicious, and then incorporate that into my way of eating, I found that my weight would come off easier. Any kind of digestive issues are going to be resolved. And fat is a lever. I will say that fat is definitely a lever, because if you're having too much fat, you may deal with some constipation. Some diarrhea. If you're not having enough fat, you might feel constipation or, need to have some increase in your fat. But I found that increasing the fat did really help me. So I would say, for people, especially those that are just starting out, don't fear the fat. So you'll see some things on my channel, on my TikTok, where I am cooking in beef tallow, or I'm cooking in lard, I'm cooking in bacon grease. And I'm also, like last night I had a New York strip. New York strip steak is fairly lean. So I added about maybe a couple tablespoons of butter with that. And I don't typically use a ton of butter, but I would say adding fat has been a game changer. So the three things that have been game changers for me in my journey has been carnivore itself, and then adding movement, 14,400 steps a day, which has been incredible, and then adding more fat. So it's been really, really powerful. The carnivore way of eating it's so incredible. I have interviewed so many people, hundreds of disease states that have been put into remediation, resolved, cured, whatever you want to call it, through changing what you are eating. And so if anybody is telling you that what you're eating does not matter, that is not the truth. It is just not the truth. If they're telling you that food pyramid with that base of all of those grains and pasta, rice, cookies, cakes, all of that stuff at the bottom of it is a natural, normal human way to eat, it's just not the truth. And so we need to be increasing our meat consumption and increasing our fat consumption, reducing the amount of carbohydrates that we are eating in order to reclaim our health. And so that is what I am really all about over here. Now, I do want to touch on the fact that for me, meat-based with dairy is a problem. I showed you guys the image of myself over here on YouTube. I showed you the image of myself with those two black eyes and that dark circle around my mouth. That may or may not have been eczema. So a lot of times when you go to the doctor, they'll call things eczema because they have no clue what it is. My body was fighting for its life with metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance, and probably dealing with pre-diabetes. I was definitely in the pre-diabetic range, although no one ever even told it to me. I would not, if I had not come into this way of eating and began to study for myself and learn these things, I would not have even known that I was pre-diabetic. So if you're having dark circles around your eyes, it's because you're having too much sugar and your body is fighting. It's likely insulin resistance. And so what I found out is that dairy for me is a problem. So when I started carnivore, I started it out with the cheese. Love me some cheese, y'all. It's my jam. I love cheese. Cheese is amazing. I cannot tolerate cheese at all. Not at all. And so what does it do to me? It causes my eczema to flare. If I eat cheese, I was doing the heavy cream in the coffee, which I do still drink coffee on my carnivore way of eating. You're not going to be able to kick me out of carnivore because I'm already in here. But I was eating all the cheese. I was having the heavy cream. I was doing sour cream, dipping my steak in sour cream. And come to find out, the dairy was hugely problematic for me. I could not tolerate dairy. When I did the stick of butter a day challenge, I ate 1 stick of butter a day for a month. I gained 10 pounds. And then I said, well, that can't be right because, according to Butter Bob, a stick of butter a day will make your pants fall off. So I should be losing weight. So let me try another month. I'm going to add even more butter. Well, that didn't work. If I have too much butter, I also have my eczema to flare. Now I can eat butter, not that much though. And preferably I will do browned butter where I get those milk fat solids cooked off. And brown butter is so delicious. If you have not tried brown butter, you need to try it. It gives you some really nice caramel vibes. And so you may like that a lot. So for me, the dairy is out. I can't have cheese, no more cheeseburgers, no more blue cheese. One day my daughter went to the farmer's market, I think last summer, and she bought me a beautiful piece of blue cheese. And I took about maybe an ounce of that blue cheese. And the next day my hands were all blistered. So I can't tolerate the dairy. I've even tried like lamb's milk or goat milk cheese. Nope, I can't tolerate the dairy. No cheese for me, no heavy cream, no sour cream, and very limited amounts of butter. And so, so that's basically it. How do I get my fat? I get the beef fat trimmings, if I can get them from the grocery store. My grocery store out here is acting funny though these days. And they're like, oh, we're not selling that anymore. I got to talk to the guy that I know and say, hey, I'm going to come and pick some up. Cut me some ribeye fat trimmings. And so, yeah, get them at your store. I know like some of the folks that I know have been getting them for free, which is really nice. Just depends on your area and what they're doing with them. But yeah, go to your butcher shop and ask them to give you the ribeye fat trimmings, and it's absolutely delicious. So yeah, today's my Carniversary. I'm so happy and thankful that I found this way of eating. I do have a question over here. Let me answer this question. How old am I? I'm 59 years old, and I will be 60 on my birthday in July. And I do not track body fat. So the question is, do I track body fat? I do not. My scale, however, will tell me my body fat percentage. So if I want to know, I can just stand on my scale and let it measure that for me and tell me what my body fat percentages are. So I haven't looked at it, and I probably should have looked at it before I came on here. But I feel like for me, the most powerful things are My anxiety is cleared up. My eczema has cleared up. I no longer have to deal with these awful seasonal allergies every single season. And then that I'm not like suffering to go to the bathroom. Like those are major changes for me, and for me that is enough. Like it's enough. I want to mention Raynaud's syndrome. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of that, Raynaud's, and it's where you touch something cold and your hands basically go numb, or your feet go numb, your extremities. And so I was dealing with some pretty severe case of that. Like if I got in my car and I touched the steering wheel, my fingers would just turn white. They would go numb. And I kind of thought that was gone. I did not have it at all last winter, but this year I did have one time that happened where my fingers went numb. So I can't say that it's gone, but it's way better. We do have another question here from Lions Danivore podcast. It says, love your energy and would love to have you on my podcast. Absolutely, Lions Danivore podcast. I would love to come on your podcast. And if anybody out there would like to have me on, I would be happy to come on. You guys can email me. Absolutely. I'm going to pop up my email address over here on my banner for you so that you can get my email. There it is. And so, yeah, you can email me if you would love to have me on. I would love to come on. If you want to come on my show, email me and let me know, and we'll get it set up and have you come on and tell your story. Because as Dr. Kiltz always says, it is the documented stories that count. And so we need to be telling about the amazing benefits of changing to an animal-based or proper human diet, which means that you're mainly eliminating a lot of sugar. What we have been doing over the past 50 years is we've been replacing fat with sugar. We've been replacing protein with sugar, replacing everything with sugar. Anytime you look at a product and it says low fat, what do they replace that fat with to make it taste like something? They replace it with sugar. So our bodies are really fighting to try to deal with this level of sugar. We are on a high carbohydrate way of eating, and it is very problematic for the body. So when we talk about proper human diet, it is a spectrum. Not everybody has to be like me and eat only meat. But I think a lot of us probably do, because we've done a lot of damage. So if you're having, sickness and illness, and I'm not a doctor, I'm just a grandma over here. I'm a grandma of 11, trying to just let people know that you can change your life and change your health trajectory with food. And it's absolutely incredible. Like, who would have thought that it's the food that's causing all of these problems? I mean, did anybody know? Was anybody, aware already, like that it's the food that's the problem? That most of the things that we are eating and out of boxes and packages and all of that are not even really suitable for human consumption. So your body's fighting to deal with it. And where is it putting all that stuff? It's putting it in your fat cells. And so we want to be able to release that fat. And we can do that when we reduce our carbohydrates. And so that's what I'm talking about, all about over here. So again, my name is Robin Hare, and I'm your Carnivorous Grandma. I'm also a health coach. You can check out my website at www.carnivorousgrama.com. It's Grama, Carnivorous, Grama.com. And I'm coaching, because when I started carnivore 3 years ago, I couldn't find anybody that was doing this. It was so few and far between. Even on YouTube, there was very few, right? Now you see them. They're coming out of the woodwork. I see you guys out here. I see all you TikTokers. I see all you YouTubers out here talking about the amazing benefits of a carnivore way of eating. When I started, there was nobody, and that's only been 3 years ago. And so I decided to become a coach. I developed my own program. And basically, but now I've become a Kilt certified head coach, health coach as well. So I'm certified in Kilt's methodology as well. Dr. Kilt's has an amazing program. So if you guys are interested in becoming Kilt certified, they're starting a new, they have an online cohort that's starting. You can find that at Kilt's Mighty Tribe. And go ahead and become a coach. Teach somebody how to do this for themselves and change their lives. And so that's something that I'm really into. I also want to mention to you guys, my meetup is coming up. Second year of Impact Meetup and Eat Up with CarnivorousGrama and friends. And that is going to be held here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I don't know if I have a flyer in here. Let me see if I got one. I don't think I have it, but Impact Meetup and Eat Up with CarnivorousGrama and friends. You can find it on my website, www.carnivorousgrama.com, and go out there and get your tickets. Come and be a part of this meetup in Kalamazoo. And if you're in the Midwest, come on and come and be a part of it. We're going to have Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Nelson. Nurse Laura will be here in the house. I have a physician's assistant. Her name is Ariana. She will be in here talking about metabolic health and, kind of what we're seeing in the community around metabolic health states. We have friends that are coming in. We got Meet Julia, who is, I think she's over here in the chat. And we've got George Goodenough coming from the UK. We got Happy Sexy Health. They're also coming in from the UK. We've got Rockin' Coach Amy. And I keep hearing more and more influencers that are coming. And so, yes, come and be part of this meetup in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's going to be dynamic. It is Labor Day weekend. So it's Saturday, September 5th, and you'll be off. So come on over. You can find the information for that at my website. I'll also make sure that I post it out here. If you haven't already seen that post come up, I'll be posting it out again so that you guys can see it and come out and be a part of the Impact Meetup. You guys, I am so thankful that I found this way of eating. I never thought it was food that was causing so many problems, from anxiety to IBS to skin issues. I never thought that it was the food that was the problem. And so if you have not thought about that idea, that it's potentially food that's really causing me a problem, not just being overweight, right? Overweight is a problem. But being fat in and of itself is not necessarily a health problem. It is the metabolic issues that are caused from all this chronic inflammation. We have inflammation all over our bodies, from our eyes to our brains, to our hearts, to our blood vessels, everywhere, our kidneys, everywhere, and chronic inflammation causing a myriad of disease states. And so, it's the food that's causing that problem. And so you can say, yes, it runs in my family. As I said, what runs in my family? Chronic hypertension. And so I could have chosen to stay on medication for the rest of my life, or change the way I eat so that the food can change my health state. So you can do this. You can do it. Go keto. If you're afraid to go carnivore, go keto. You'll find that it is amazing, and you can get some really incredible health benefits from just elimination of carbohydrates. All right. So I have, I'll say, okay, Lions Danivore podcast. I will check for your email. Again, thank you guys so much for being with me to celebrate my Carniversary today. I'm so proud and so thankful. Here we go for another year of meat-based eating. I hope everybody has a great week this week. Guys, go and watch our friend Butter Bob at 6:00. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.